What's up, y'all? This is Jam and Sam, and today we're going to restore Northern Kremispheres from DK3, which is the main map, main world map, and which we've already done the smaller map. Now we're doing the big map. So check it out. What's up, Renato? I see people are starting to come in. After the song loops, no hi-hats until 129. Gotcha. I actually sequenced a good MIDI of this in VG Music. Nice. Well, I'll tell you one thing good about this track. It looks like it loops cleanly. So you've got one bar here, the whole thing loops right here, and it loops cleanly, which is unusual for one of Evelyn's songs. Usually she does this weird encoding a 4/4 and a 3/4 shell thing. But now we seem to have a pretty clean loop, and it means that I can't. But basically, all that complication aside, it means we can loop cleanly. So let's see where it actually. Let me find the spot where it actually loops, and what bar does it loop at? This will be a telltale sign. So 21. We want to cut it at 21. Wait a minute. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's enough space. So cut it at 21 and then make this one unique. So now we've got one iteration of the song, no loops, just one run through. So that'll make it easier for us to see everything. Hey. Oh, all right. So let's see what we've got in channel 1. What in the world? Why is it opening a flex channel? No, this is not what I asked for. Hold on. Okay, so here we go. Now we've actually got to loop it again. So it looks like we've got, let's see. Not quite sure. It looks a little bit strange. Oh, I see. Here we go. We've got the very low, what I think is a tom. Yeah, so there's that tom at a very low. It's probably not going to sound the same because it's so low that it's not even recognizable anymore. And the way the SNES compresses things, like pitches things down, would come into play. There's going to be a lot of this is glitchiness, weird glitchy sound created by the SNES's bad interpretation of the sample. So it might not sound totally right, but it looks like we've got some kicks, and then so these sounds I don't quite recognize. I know we got the kick at 32, but what is 33? That's the ice crack from it's used in a Snowbound Land from DK2. That's the same sound. Now what do we have at 11? Okay, so we've got the DK2 snare. So before we get ahead of ourselves, let's take that tom. So that's this right here. Might want to use the actually, let's add that in there as well. So we might want to use the sound font, which has more samples in it, because there might be one out of all that would sound better. Oh wait, I'm in 64-bit. Whoops. Okay, so now we've got our sound font player. So we get see, it's called cross toms, and I would assume we want the lowest one. There we go. That's going to be our sort of region that we want here. So let's see what note this is at. It's going to be a solid C3, which I think we might be hitting already. No, it's going to be way lower than that. So this sounds like the right pitch right here. There we go. Then 1 octave lower. So see, it sounds a little different because of the way the Super Nintendo handles like this kind of thing. But yeah, this is going to be our sample right here. We don't need that. Use the sound font because the low low tom kind of does it. So let's say let's call this boom drum beat or boom beat. So let's go down to not lower than that. Let's go way down to C0. Okay, so we've got that and some kicks. Does it do it every bar or every other bar? Yeah, every other bar. But it's supposed to be higher. But is that the big roomy snare that's supposed to be? No, it's the DK2 snare, or DK2 kick. So we want that kick. There we go. Looks like it's an octave up. And it also sounds like it has a little bit of attack on it, just a slight bit of attack. There we go. And I also think that this this note right here is supposed to be an indication of delay. So let's remove that. Let me. I gotta change my. I want to be in step right now. So I want to. Well, this is also. I think we're. So we're in half a step. Yeah, there we go. So what I want to do now is send this to a mixer track, send it to drums, and say that this kick has a delay of it on it of half a step, I believe. No, maybe not. Wait, what? Alright. Okay, maybe... Okay, I think it was a third that it was supposed to be. So this kick was, where did I remove that note? This kick was sort of in a third of a step. Okay, I think this song has weird timing as well, even though it loops within one, even though it loops cleanly, it still has a weird timing. So we got to do something about that because that's going to interfere with our delays. You see, there's really no way, so there's no way I can like calculate this. Okay, nope, there's no way. Wait. So 3/4 of a step, that's our delay right here. 3/4 of a step. Three-fourths of a step would be 0 to 36. There we go. Perfect. See, and it even tracks. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel different. It just feels like it's supposed to feel. Now, maybe we want those. I want those to be a little bit like separate. There we go. Make them a little bit diffused. And maybe make them a little bit low passed. There we go. Now they kind of, our ear can kind of separate them from each other. Separate the delays from the but they're also way shorter than that. So we need to take it off sustain, make the notes really short. There we go. Now they're like a pinprick, like just a little. Yeah, only five notes, but one of those, like, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there, that one, I feel like she's implying delay here. So that's, I'm taking it upon myself to put delay even though it's not in there. I'm just saying, like, because this note makes me feel like there should be delay here, and I think it works. So we've got our first drum beat, and that goes on until we get a new one. Which our new one is going to be all the way over here. So we've got that booming DK3 kick. And then we've got that ice crack sound. And then we've got the DK2 snare. So let's go and copy all three of these. Well, no, I only need one loop of it. Ooh, looks like everything doesn't quite loop so cleanly. Actually, yeah. So it loops. At least it's in a little easier of a timing to calculate. Look, there's 2 loops are 3 bars. So we need to take 2 loops of it. It's gonna be, every loop is gonna be 1.5 bars. So let's see, boom beat. This, another note should happen right after it. And our song just happens to loop cleanly into 2 bars because it's half. So it's still, we should be able to calculate our delays pretty easily, but okay, now I need to know when this, hold on, when this second kick comes. It comes at the very end, so it's at the right, of course. So at the very end, right here, that's when it happens. Now this kick is supposed to be down here at half. It's not supposed to be that loud, or at least so the encoding says. Let's see what we actually hear. Actually, it's supposed to be louder than the kicks. So maybe if we raise the volume of the drum, of the tom drum. But it's still louder. So maybe we want to lower the volume of the kick and raise the velocity of the drum. And as we always know, our kick drum should be, in a perfect world, our kick drum should be, which is, the tom is essentially our kick drum. Our kick drum should go up to -6 dB. So let's go get, let's actually just put it to full. Which now it goes to 0, and we don't want that. We want it to go to 6. There we go, perfectly at 6. And now I think we want our kick, a regular kick, to rise up to that with a little more velocity. There we go. Maybe at 9 it could go to. Maybe a little less. But I'm cool with that for now. So the toms, we need to give them a mixer track. And let's see, do they have any reverb, or I don't know. Yeah, they have some reverb. So let's give it, let's put it in a reverb track. But the kicks, now the kicks do not have reverb. So we'll keep them there. There we go. That's a nice reverb on that clap. Okay, so now we can work with our second drum beat here. So let's take remember 2 loops of this tom, or this kick here, and let's see. Right here. Boom. Wait a minute. So, okay, this one doesn't even loop as cleanly. Okay, so it's a 2-bar loop, which means that this is going to be a 3 bars in here. Yeah, I forgot 2 iterations. It's a long loop. Okay, this is that ice crack sound. Actually, I'm going to make a new pattern for this. Boom beat 2. Can just cut this out. And say that we want to take 3 bars of this loop. Put it here in kick number 2. And then we want to take 3 bars of this. And finally, Last but not least, 3 bars of this DK2 snare. It's got to be a octave lower. Now, first thing we want to do is make sure that everything's in its right pitch. I want to say that this kick is supposed to be an octave lower. No, maybe not. Maybe? I doubt it. Now, one thing we want to notice is that this kick also has a little bit of attack on it to take off that like really sharp pluck. So it's just kind of a little not so harsh thud. And I'm also going to go out on a limb and say that the ice crack is lower, is an octave lower. Yeah. But maybe the sample might be sort of a different frequency. There you go. Maybe a B? No, C. Perfect. And I feel like the kick is a little bit too high. There we go. Perfect. Not that low. I'm not really sure about that. Pretty sure it's that part. Let me go grab the original to compare for a minute. How many samples away from middle C is that snare? So middle C is here. I want to say it's like actually a G. It's actually playing a G. That's good. I like that. Okay, cool. Now we just got to delete these echo notes, and we want to take into account their so they're 3 steps away. Let's extend them. Actually, you know what I can just do is instead of removing the notes, I can just glue them. If you look at that, ain't that cool? Convenient. So just glue everything, glue them together. It's like they never existed and the note still extends out. So what we want to do now is make a track for everything. And I know that, like, for one thing I could hear that was bugging me, I'm just going to do this for a second, is that the kick is very weak in bass. There we go. So let's kick number 2, and then Ice Crack gets a channel, and then I wonder which one of these have reverb. So both the snare and the Ice Crack have reverb. So now what we need is for the kick and the Ice Crack to have a delay. Now I want to save CPU. I want to bust the kick and the Ice Crack into a bus. Let's call this kick plus snare, and just put 1 delay instead of having 2 for each track. Three steps. Now one thing I want to do is, because like in an echo like this, like where there's a huge space, what happens is, like, because there's not a lot of flat surfaces for the bass to reverberate off. It's kind of like a big wide open space. The highs would be the ones to echo back at you, like way more than the bass. So what I can do is high pass the delays, make it sound more like a big wide open space. There we go. Cool. So that pretty much does it with that channel. Now, what else do we have? Next we have the hi-hats, I believe. Dun, dun. So pretty much those same hi-hats from the smaller map. So let me actually take this down. So I need to copy 3 bars of this. Make a new pattern, call it hi-hats. There we go. And I almost forgot to add everything where it's supposed to be. So let's go and say, how many times does this repeat? So there's 3 bars, 3 bars, 3 bars, 3 bars. 4 times. No, wait, that's part 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this extends for the whole song, but as someone pointed out, in the there's a gap in the loop. When it loops, it gaps. How long does it gap forward? Let's see. 3 bars, 3 bars, 3 bars. So there's 1, 2, 3 bars, 3 bars, 3 bars. Right here is where it starts again. Alright, so let's give that a mixer track, and that was pretty easy. Let me make sure everything else. So this, actually I'm gonna need a, I forgot about the reverb on here. I'm actually going to need a separate delay for each of these. So I'm gonna save what I did here. Save as Untitled, and sort of just delete this. Bring it to the snare. No, wait, not the snare. Ice crack. And then also bring it to the kick. So now it looks like we've got all or most of our drums. Let me see. Yeah, that looks like all of our drums pretty much. Now we're working on, what are we working on right now? Hold on, it froze on me. So it looks like we've got, looks like what's going on here is it's playing in a lower octave and then repeating in a higher octave. So we've got, it's echoing in another in a upper octave. So you got, this is the original right here, and it's going in the upper octave. It's doing that same thing again. This is like something that Evelyn did in Mill Fever with the marimba. It would like echo in a higher octave. It's just pretty much a delay trick. So what we're gonna do with that, and see, there's also echoes here. So you got echoes in like a 3-step echo, 3-step delay going on the original channel, and then it also echoes at 2 steps in a higher octave. So here's how we can do that. What I'm gonna do is, actually, maybe does it have the same velocity in the upper octave? And it also echoes at what interval? So there's a bunch of echoes going on here. There's what is our interval here? So we've got 1, 2, 3 steps, 3.5 steps. We got 3 steps, 3.5 steps, and then an octave up we got 2 steps. So what we want to do is copy, really it's just this one pattern twice. So we've got this one pattern. Let's make a new channel, call it plucks. It's like a little pluck arpeggio. So we've got this it's from DK2 originally. It was used only in Bayou Boogie, and then it was used extensively in DK3. So we've got, oh wait, in this thing I have to save it like that. So this, is this the right octave? I want to know. So it is the right octave, but I need it to be very short. No, wait, it's not the right octave. It's an octave up. No, wait. What was the right octave? I think it's in the wrong key. So it should be in... Wait. Something just seems off about it to me. It's off by a couple of semitones. So let me see. No, it's still off. I think that's just about it. Yeah, that sounds about right. So now we want this to have a three-step delay. Three steps, and let's see. Wait a minute, that's not right. No, wait. Not quite 3 steps. Yes, four. Wait. No, it should be 3 steps. Oh, because it's repeating. That's why. It's like the bar is repeating and it's running over itself. So the bar is repeating and it's just running over itself. That means, is that how it's supposed to be? I don't really remember. Yeah, it's kind of a 2-bar thing, but it only, actually, I was supposed to copy this other part, because I'm supposed to do 3 bars, which is, wait, actually it would be 6 bars of repetition. And then there's this part right here. But then the delay does something different, so that's kind of strange. See, this is how these things get really complicated. So I'm just gonna, let's see, can I establish a clear place where it repeats right here? So I'm just gonna copy this, and we know that it's in A, so we want to remember that. So let's go ahead and figure out where our echo notes are. We know that these are echoes. These are all delays. These are all delays. So we know that, and we know that this is not an echo right here. So that sounds pretty good like by itself, except it's not loud enough. Which I think that we need to scale our velocity here. So what is the loudest sound in this song? That would be these, is that those kicks that we copied? Yeah. So those kicks are the loudest thing in the song. We want to scale everything so that this is the loudest. This is the peak right here. We want to scale everything else with the same kind of mentality. So we want to, let me just scale these as well. So we want to scale the plucks as well. So let's go. So that's cool. That's our loop there. And I think it's loud enough. It should be, we don't need it to be that loud, but it might need to be louder later. But this is good enough for now. So we want to see what's going on with the other thing. So remember, it's 3.5 steps. But this one's longer. This one's a longer sound, so it's not going to draw itself out as much as it should. So here's what my interpretation of that is. We want a guitar sound that's almost completely decayed, but it has some left in. Still has a little bit of life left in it. And I'm going to go ahead and scale this up to, well, actually no, I'm not going to do any velocity scaling. I'm only going to do, so like this one was supposed to be like that. I'm not going to scale any of the velocities for samples. There we go, 6 and a little bit less than that. Okay, and I'm gonna, so let's say that this should be greater in volume. That ought to do us pretty well. So now our delay. We already have the note delays on there. Now the other channel delay is 3.5 steps. Interesting. So now that doesn't sound quite right, but let's see. What we want is a lot of spread so that those, because what's happening is those echoes are losing, like she's trying to say that those echoes are losing their pluck. Like there's no, like they're getting spread out so much that they're kind of just like shimmering everywhere. And I think what I need to do is see, now the reason it sounds like a harp is because it's got so much more highs than the jazz guitar did. It should be a very loud delay. Okay, so that doesn't sound great, but it sounds passable. I might need to get another delay effect, like try to find another one that can do what I need it to do, because this is a very strange delay that's going to require some more settings. But for now, what I want to do is use there's a function on the sampler that allows you to like make delay in other in like higher pitch. So if I go 50% and I say that the timing wants to be, let's see, what was it? It was 2 steps, right? Yeah, it was 2 steps, and then it's an octave higher. Then that's what we want. Okay, that's not what I expected. Actually, yeah, we want 1 echo. We want to make sure we specify 1 echo. So it kind of sounds like an arpeggio. And there's also some attack on this one, which I can't do with this plugin. So what I want to do is, I think I want to make this a separate channel. And I want to make sure that it's not with a different, like that it all has the same notes. I think it pretty much has the same notes. Let me check that. That's kind of spooky. But we also want to remove all these echo notes. Now that sounds heavenly. So that's kind of the reduction of all the, my interpretation of the reduction of the notes. Now we could also probably do this a little bit in the other channel. So we know that it spreads at an interval of 3. So we can remove this one, and we can remove this one and this one. We can remove this one. We can remove this one. And this one. And this one. This one. This one, this one, and this one. Wait a minute, except that this one never does go like change notes. So why does it show, why does it have it change notes in the thing? I guess it's an error. Just like the notes are wrong, also the thing is wrong in a lot of ways. So that's cool. That's less of a, that's kind of a less things we have to expand upon. So this is, so this means that this whole thing is just that. Wait a minute. That's not right. So it should repeat after 3 bars. This is 2 right here. So we've got, what did I do? Cool. Hey, how's it going? How's it going yourself? X-Files much? I don't know. This is like sort of X-Files. I think whenever I copied that one, like one of them, and it went over the other one, it sort of sounded sort of minor. That was sounded X-Files. Have you ever produced music for a video game? Not really, not yet. But I'm working on it. That's why I'm putting out originals, so I can get my game up. That's why I've been putting out originals up to YouTube. So hopefully someday, not officially yet, but someday. But now that one right there has, the echo is has that sort of effect of like actually going down, and it has these extra notes here, which is, maybe it's just a, wait, no, this is the upper octave one. Never mind. So this one right here sort of does the same thing at a lower octave. Let's see, it sort of has these lower notes. So what I want to do is copy these notes at the end of the phrase, like for the end of the phrase, because they can't be echoes. And every note must be represented in some way. See, I want to say, yeah, it repeats here. So this is going to go starting at bar 4. So remember, we have to scale it up. So F goes to A. Okay, so F goes to A, and then you delete all these. So these are all echoes. These must be all echoes. But this is not. Oh, wait. So if you take away that one, because that one's just repeating the same thing over and over again indefinitely. Take away that one. What does it sound like is going on here? So here I got an idea. So what I'm gonna do is keep this the same, because this is like its own thing. But then I'm gonna make this something like its own thing. So what's happening here is like, let's mute this out. So I really want to copy this, the higher one again. So let me see what it sounds like is going on. And I'm going to sort of interpret it as I go. I think I deleted one. Okay, now here's where it starts getting complicated. Actually, I think these notes are also encoded wrong. Like, these are just like playing the wrong notes. So there is, let's see. So it sounds like what's going on is makes a lot more sense than that, than what I see here. So it sounds like she's going, so it sounds like it's going A to D. So you've got how many repeats? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this is when it starts right here. It starts right here. It goes down to where this one note goes down to D. So it's really just as simple as that. There's no like crazy crap going on like it shows in here. So the notes should be, let's see. So what are those third two notes? Third pairs of notes. Yeah, I think it's just A and C sharp. There's no like all that lower notes is not actually happening. It's just this. So really, plain and simple, what we've got is this. Hold on. We've got just this repeating, and then we've got this going down, and this going down, and then the rest are just plain echoes. Now the envelope is the only thing left to do. Very charming little chimes here. Maybe a little bit less attack. And actually, I think it fades all the way out. There's no sustain. And all these, well, the velocities are supposed to stay the same. Oh yeah, but I never scaled them. I don't think. Let me see what the original velocity kind of thing was. So this is at right here, 45%, and this is at 55. So I need to, let's see, $59 and $42. Looks like it tracks pretty well. Yeah, that sounds about right. But these need to be even shorter. So right now I want to measure the original, like the lower octave, and then these. So but I think I want the delays to be louder though. So that sounds pretty right, actually. But I think this one, I don't want to sound so loud. There we go. Oh, that sounds so much better. Now that sounds good. Now, is there a panning relationship here? Because no, they're all just kind of center. So that makes our job a little easier. Everything is center. Cool. Okay. That was a big one. Ah, I gotta stretch a lot. Oh, man. Alright. So that was really complicated. Well, it turned out to be not so complicated, but we had to overcome a major obstacle. But so let's see what y'all are saying. Hype, one of the best things I've ever produced. Are you aware of other video games composers besides the Rare team? I know Koji Kondo. Koji Kondo is the legend, the one who made the Mario theme and Legend of Zelda, like the original Legend of Zelda theme, which is a great theme. I absolutely love, and as well as the Mario Overworld. And then I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but Nobu Uematsu, who did Final Fantasy VII. And then that's really all the video game composers that ever mattered to me. That's the only ones that I've ever considered like, oh, I actually like this music. Because I don't really like much video game music, despite wanting to be a video game composer. So, yeah, that's my answer. Now, what's next? So now we can move on to the next thing, which is, let me see. Wait, there's more to this, there's more to this channel here. So we got that harmonica thing that keeps coming in. No, but it comes in at first too. This looks like it right here. So wait a minute, is this oh wait, it froze on me again. So this seems really short. What's going on here? Oh wait. It is a really short thing, but here's where the first harmonica bit repeats. It repeats once and then it goes into... It repeats a second time. So here's the first time. Now what we've got is that synth from DK2, but it's supposed to be like a harmonica. So what we're going to do is call this harmonica. You know, it's sort of like when you play a harmonica, you have like the different expression that can be done with the notes. Like you can blow softly and then it like makes the kind of this soft sound, and then you blow harder and it makes a more pronounced sound. And that's what she's trying to recreate, it sounds like. So we're going to go and grab the DK2 Sawtooth synth. And really I have, hold on, I have to, because it's all in different channels. Na 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 na. So what we got to do is copy these individually. Looks like I missed one. So, and we've got another layer in here, so I don't think this is quite, there might be some inaccuracies in there, but let's copy the other layer. Wait a minute. I think I copied that wrong. No, wait, no, I didn't. So not quite so sure about that, but first let's see what our delay relationship is. So you got the bottom note is echoing after 2 steps. So So first off, it's echoing at an interval of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 steps. And then on top of that, there's 2 steps. But the top note... And I think this is an error right here. No. This is an error. So I think these echoes are fluttering just to give kind of just to give some sort of dynamic to the sound. I don't even know if they're actually doing it or it's just an error. Oh wait, I know what's happening. So this, it's kind of So the echo is like, the echo is shifting between echoing the bottom note and the top note. That's what it looks like. So da 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 dun dun dun. So it's like na 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 na. It's doing this sort of thing where. So here's what my interpretation is. You got the top note that's going da 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 na 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 da 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 da. So yeah, it's like when you do a harmonica, she's trying to like. She's sort of blowing a chord, blowing two notes, and then hitting the bottom note, and then the rest is just echoes. So what we got here is, this is an echo, this is an echo, this is an echo, da na 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 na, boom, 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 boom. But then these are all also echoes. So yeah, so she's pretty much like just playing those two notes on the harmonica, and then it just goes down to just one note at a quieter sort of velocity. So that's the mystery. Now what we want to do is legato. Well, actually, this no 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 no. Now we can configure our envelope. So the volume, let's see. Volume envelope should give us some attack. Okay, so that's pretty much the raw sound. Yeah, so The same, not very much aside from Koji Kondo. Yeah, yeah, I don't really know, like I don't really care much for video game music because it doesn't capture what Donkey Kong Country did. Like none of it ever does. It doesn't capture the color that the sound design was made with, and like all the colorful instruments and whatnot. It sort of just feels like most video games after they were 8-bit, they just started trying to be orchestral, or they like and not being very good at it from a sound design perspective, and they were trying to be or they were just throwing all kinds of instruments at the wall and didn't care what it sounded like, as far as they just cared more about the notes, i.e. best example of that is Yoshi's Island, which I enjoyed, but the instruments were terrible. From the sound design was terrible. So let's see. See median game composers aside from Sonic. Hans Zimmer, yeah, I do love a lot of movie composers. Hans Zimmer, because I'm big into film scoring as well. I have scored officially a bunch of movies so far, a bunch of short films from my friends. Let's see. All right, so we've got this harmonica sound. But wait, so the fact that the harmonica has to change means that those are like there's no real echo notes. It's all just the harmonica like changing deflection. So we want that. This is like our pattern rate. But we want some release on that too. So the echoes we want to, like our so-called echoes, we want them to come like this, like this, like this. So this envelope isn't quite accurate, so I need to sort of play with it. Now, I also feel like there's supposed to be a sort of drop, like a sharp drop. There we go. So now all that's left to do is just make it sound a little bit more like a harmonica. But I think it would be better if I just, like, remove these and let it play. I'm going to try it with the first one just to see how it works out. There we go. So yeah, it's hard to get those cutoff notches right. I think I just need to scale it up a bit. There we go. Now take it down, like take the scale down a bit, take all the higher ones lower. Yeah, that I'm just right now I'm just tweaking it to make it sound a little bit more like a harmonica. But maybe not. Let's see, this I want that to be more of a like ooh. I want it to be more of an ooh sound, like a vowel. So I think that's the tone we want. That's sort of like the cutoff degree that we want. But it's still not, the timbre is not quite right. Might even be an octave higher. No. So I think what I'm hearing is like a little, there's some distortion changing the... Ouch. Alright. Okay, that's because of the distortion. So there's like a specific envelope on this. Might need to EQ it. I think I'm gonna need to mostly do this on my own, because yeah, this is gonna take some time. I think we should move on, and then I'll try to figure this out on my own. But let me get to let's see. Let me see. Okay, so that's about as good as it's going to get for now. I'm going to come back to that later. So what's next? Looks like we've got a bass next. I think that's what's next. I think that's what that is, yeah. So this is this right here. let's make a new channel and call it bass. Okay, so that's pretty much a loop of that. Wait. And then it stops there. So, hold on a minute. Let's configure let's put the plucks into the song. So, got them coming out like that. They do that twice, and then twice here, and then twice at the beginning of the next loop. So I'm a little confused on how the arrangement plays out. So we got, let's see. Okay, and then the bass kicks in. But only for half of what it normally does. No bass. Oh. The bass comes in 3 bars later and it plays its full solo. So then the harmonica comes in again. Alright, now wait a minute. Okay, this is as it's supposed to be. Why does it end right here? Okay, so I did too much. So it loops right here. So now that we have our loop point, I'm going to go ahead and make this the regular, and then wait a minute. So it doesn't end there. So we have it, let's see. It actually loops at 31. It doesn't loop at 21 like we had it originally. So we had a loop ending early. We can delete this and then say that, okay, we're going to have it loop at 31. So here's our actual loop. So up until now, it does this drum beat up to the end. So this is where it has that ooh, that little voice solo. At which time hold on. The bass repeats again. Wait, it does dun dun. Okay, so we got a unique piece here for the bass. Okay, so cool, that's coming together. But then we want those kicks again. See right here, the kicks come back in. Now if I do, no, it doesn't work like that. So what I'm gonna have to do is separate the kicks pattern from that boom thing from the tom. I think this might be in the wrong key. Maybe that's why it wasn't working so well. So the thing went from F to A, so that means we got to make the same move up from A to E, from C to E. There we go. What? Oh my god. I spent so much time on that. No. I want my money back. Oh my god, I spent so much time on that and it wasn't even in the right key. That's why it wasn't sounding. Oh, jeez. Sweet Jesus. Okay. Alright, so now we should be able to make, okay, so this project is kind of a mess right now, but now we should be able to make this sound right. So I'm gonna go and drop a whole new, like, I'm gonna try to sort of revert back to the original. So now we know, maybe I shouldn't have done that, because now we got to do our volume envelope all over again. So the volume envelope is supposed to be, let's see. Okay, that's going to be good enough for now because I'm really tired of that sound. So now let me figure out this arrangement here. So we got kicks here, so it starts. So it starts, Starts right about... Should start right about there. But I'm not really sure about this pattern here. Keeps going to the end of the song. And then it repeats. So that's pretty much our loop. But this time the hi-hats don't start till later. So someone says, when you get all these done, would you do variations on them? Like DK1 with ice, no static, K music with no water drops. No, we won't be doing any of that. They would be, yeah, I would have to produce like that would be safe when I make remixes. Flavored remixes. Yeah, I've been listening to your restored version for a year now. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. Glad you enjoyed them. Too much. No dark string yet. To get that, best I could do. All right. So we've got everything laid out. Now what's next for our bass? We need to finish our basses because I know there's like a dark string bass. So where's that? Here we go. So it keeps coming in and out every so often. So we'll just copy that whole track right here. Dark string bass. And let's drag the strings, but there's going to be another sample that we want. I know there's a lower sample in there. So and then it goes up an octave. And this is probably gonna be an A. Now we want it to fade in a bit, and we also want it to fade out. So, let's see. That's good. Maybe a little less. But we don't have enough, like, it doesn't give us a long enough delay, so let's make it, let's see, does it fade all the way out or does it stop? I think it fades all the way out. So what we want to do is take this, get a note fade out. This is going to be heavy velocity, so let's put it way up here. Cool. So let's give it its own. First off, I want to like cut it off a bit, like so it's darker. There we go. But it's a little bit too loud. Remember, we want it to peak at about 6. So and maybe I want to let a little more brightness through. There we go. Now that's perfect right there. So it looks like it's going to go around the regular bass, so let's just put it in its own track. Because sometimes it goes during it. And now in the loop, let's see. Just repeats like normal. Okay, cool. So now what's next that we have to get around to? I know we started, so we finished that. We got everything in this channel. But we don't have the, except we're missing the voice. which means we go grab the let's see, the voice airvox. But it should really only be half velocity. So it sounds like we got a little bit of attack. We got just a little bit. Pretty long decay. Cool. And so that's going to sit, I forgot where it goes, but cool. So we got that down. So there's what's next. So looks like that's the bass. We got everything up till now. This is the other end of the harmonica. So there's this dun, 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 that E piano that goes like, you know. So it's in track 4, very next track. Or not the next track. Yeah, this sound right here. Make a new track, call it E piano, and I can tell it has reverb on it, first of all. Now there's different patches within this sound font here. So what we want, usually we use D. There we go. And we want it shorter than that. Very short, in fact. And there's some delay notes I want to get rid of. But what's the interval first? So it looks like we got us 2 steps and 2 1/4 steps. So now, yeah, so these are all delays, but once it hits a delay once, so it delays at 1/4 at a step, at 2 1/4 steps, and then from then on it starts delaying. So it delays after that. It speeds up. It sort of goes. Let's see. It sort of goes in intervals of 2 steps after that. So I think what I need to do is have the delay of 2 1/4 steps, but then gate it right here. It's going to start to go at a, it's going to speed up to a 2 steps. Yeah. So what we're shooting for here is 213, 212, but 213 is close enough. And once again, we're in the echo, like the echo is in a very large place, so we want to, there's not really any walls, so we want to like have a high pass on the echoes. Now, once again, we want to change the rate, change the speed, and change the intervals. So we know that one is happening right about here. So right here, we want to change the interval and say that it's going to go down to 2 steps. and then it's gonna, let's see, it's not necessarily, remember the bars are odd, so it's gonna start back up again here at a 3/4. So it's in 3/4 of a, we just have to duplicate it in intervals of 3/4 of a bar. But see, we only want that one note to repeat. So I tell you what, we'll leave this one the same, but then we'll start a new delay that kind of gates in and out. Start a new delay at 2 steps, but it gates in and out. It only comes in. First of all, this one's gonna last longer. We're gonna keep all of our same settings, but this one's gonna last until it's gonna last until the other note. It's gonna be echoing the other note, so it's going to start here. Yeah. So I'm going to say that the first delay is only there's only going to be one note of delay in there. So I'm going to say that this other delay is going to catch that last note, and it's going to start delaying it at right about here. Cool. But it's too slow of a delay on the second one. So let me go back. Maybe I got the interval wrong. 2 steps and a quarter. Actually, it's less than 2 steps. It's 1 step and a quarter, I think. No, wait. One step and a half. So it's a step and a half. 1 step and 1/2. There you go. But that delay still sounds too techno to me. We want it to sound like a real delay, even though it doesn't in the song. There we go. That's good enough for me. So now where does this instrument happen? Oh, it comes down. I forgot there was another part. So it goes down from A to 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, just an octave down. Okay. So honestly, with all the, I think I'm just gonna clone this and make it an octave down. There we go. So now its placement. The first part, it starts when the bass starts. And so I want to make room for that up here. So let's go insert 1, E piano. But it's not loud enough. It's just not punching through. It's loud, but it's not punching through. So I'm thinking maybe it has too much low end. It has too much bass on it. There we go. Actually, we want to compensate for that lack of volume here. There we go. Now it's punching through. Cool. Cool. So what's next now? Got the dark string base. Everything here is accounted for, and so we've got more toms. Let's see. Actually, I don't even need that part. Let's see. So right here we need one now. I'm gonna have to find a new place for some of this stuff. Actually, I'm just gonna have to create a new thing. I'm gonna need to hear this. So it looks like it's on a very weird beat part. So what I gotta do is, yeah, right there. So now this one's going to be on the same kind of timing, but it's going to be later. So now all this can be repeated because it's going to duplicate again. It's going to... Cool. And I think that should be it. Wait, what's this down here? The last... Alright. So go back into the voice and say, okay, this is gonna move over. So, but now we want another layer. Actually, I should have. It's gonna maintain the same bar, but now we want to copy this in there. And remember, it's scaled. Different thing. Okay, but that's the right octave. Perfect. So now that's going to start a little bit later. So, yeah, let me just tweak this a bit, because I know it still needs to be tweaked. So, so we want it to sound like a harmonica, right? So we're gonna have to do some little creative edits. that sounds right. I love it. Alright. Maybe not so... Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, I dig that. There we go. Now that sounded good. But not so sure about these degrees, these scale degrees. Now that sounds perfect right there. I love it. Alright, so let's hear it in the full mix. So the mix is pretty much done. Let's hear it. And it's not mixed yet, but this is pretty much every note should be right. Every instrument should sound right, but not necessarily popping. Cool. So maybe, let's see, I wonder if this is enough of anything. And actually, I want to do, let me do a special ending. Bear with me here, I got an idea. Perfect. All right. Alright, so now we're going to take a break, and yeah, the bass needs to be... We're going to take care of that when we come